to return to regular session.
So moved.
Second?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All of you are welcome here to the July 18th, 2013 of your Anderson Township Board of Township Trustees. And if you would, I would ask you to stand and honor our country with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda this evening is a public hearing. This is a public hearing to discuss the 2014 preliminary budget, summary tax budget. So, as it is a public hearing, I will open the hearing and turn it over to our fiscal officer, Mr. Ken Dietz.
Thank you. Seems like many times I've said this before. We are preparing a budget, a tax budget, a preliminary budget that will be in effect next year. We will tweak that budget as we go along because there will be changes, revenues will be coming in differently, projects will either be delayed or new projects might be added. So we're working on something right now that 9 months from now will go into effect. We have to adopt our permanent budget in March of next year. So there's a lot of ifs about it, but it's a work in progress. We will keep tweaking it, as I said, for the next 9 months, and we will come back with a permanent budget in March of next year. A couple comments about it. The number is $34 million, $300,000. A lot of that money is transfer money that goes to the schools. There's like $7 million that goes directly to the schools, so it's decreased a little bit. There are transfers involved in there, so it's not like we're going to spend $34 million. Some of that money is pass-through money that we get from the county. The permanent budget for this year is $34,294,000, so we're $6,000 over that. And all the trustees are concerned about the fact that we're a little bit over what our current budget is. We've been trying to decrease it, but we do have things like medical, insurance costs, contractual salary adjustments that need to be made. Things are out of our control. So it is $6,000 more than what we intend to spend this year. Historically, we have not spent the money that's in the budget. We always come in somewhere between 5% below. Last year we came in way below. We came in $4 million below, but that was because certain projects were pulled. We didn't buy the quint that we had planned to buy. Lots of things were because of the revenues coming in at a lower rate. We decided to back off. I would say this year, at $34 million, we will probably be much tighter when we get to the end of the year. We will probably spend $32 million plus because there's just not as much wiggle room as there was last year. So most of the funds are down slightly. A couple of the funds are up a little bit, but in general, the $34,300,000 is what we think we need to spend next year. Like I said, it will change. So, any questions from the board? Or
I have a comment. One of the budget only talks in terms of expenditures. It doesn't make any reference to revenues, and I think it's important for people to understand, besides being 6 months in advance, is that we're going to have a significant, we don't have an exact number, additional reduction in revenues beginning in 2014 as a result of the elimination of the death tax.
in part of the tax budget, you're seeing the summary, which is what we present to the county, but the tax budget actually includes 4 years of revenues and expenditures. It goes back to 2011, what happened then, what happened last year, what we anticipate happening this year, and I have some data because we're 6 months into it, and then what's going to happen in 2014, and what revenues are going to come in. And as most of you know that have followed, the revenue decreases will be $3 million less next year or 2015 than we were 2 years ago, because the estate tax has gone away, the tangible personal property tax has gone away, deregulation, and the local government fund has been reduced. So with all those things going on, and you will see a trend going back over the years, the expenditures have gone down every year. In the last so many years, we're down to $30 million last year. We were at 36 5 years ago. A lot of that was due to some of the expenses of, we had some bond money that we were spending on vehicles, improvements to roads, the walkways, the Anderson trails, things like that. So we backed off on spending in those areas also. So we're pretty lean right now. I mean, what we did last year was about as lean as I think we could go, and we did add a couple of new projects this year, so that's why we bumped things up. Some things we have to do. We put off some road construction, improving our township roads. At some point in time, we have to keep up with our plans and maintain those roads. So we backed off slightly on that, but we will eventually have to catch up a little bit. So.
Yeah, Mr. Dietz, kind of echo some of your comments here. Looking at your list that you provided earlier, for instance, in 2009, the expenditures were $36 million and change. The next year, they reduced to $33 million and change. In 2011, they were $31 million and change. Last year, they were $30 million. Obviously, that reflects the continued hard decisions that our employees and staff have made to help compensate for these revenue losses. So, I don't see revenues increasing anytime soon. In fact, as you mentioned, there's going to be going down. And we just have to encourage our employees to continue to make those decisions to help our budget, help Anderson stay the wonderful place that it is to live here. So, thank you.
One of the problems with dealing with budgets is that you have a certain amount of discretionary spending, and then you have a great deal, in our particular case, of spending over which you have no control of the increases. Medical expenses, just outrageous, as you all know, in your personal life. All insurance, outrageous. Gasoline for our fuel for our vehicles, I should say. Power, those factors. And here we are trying to put a budget together 6 months in advance, not having the foggiest idea what's going to happen with those kind of costs. So it's not an easy one, but nice work. I'm sure Debbie did it all.
Most of it.
No doubt.
Actually, I would like to thank the department heads and our administrator and assistant administrators. We started meeting a couple months ago trying to prepare this budget, and 3 or 4 days on and off, half a morning here and the afternoon there, that sat in a room kind of duking it out, actually. Hate to use that in the energy sense, but and so the staff deserves a lot of credit for this.
Mr. Dietz, as I compared the budget to the 2013 preliminary budget, I saw that generally all the departments' budgets were down with one exception. And also, a lot of the increase, I think, is in the TIF. And what you alluded to was capital projects that have been necessary but put on hold when we went through this whole scare about revenue, but need to be addressed, as well as the equipment and that sort of thing. So even though the bottom line is up, there's reasons for that. And if you look at it from the department's point of view, they're down. And while we consider this a bit of a nuisance because it really doesn't, in the end, have that much significance except to the auditor, I think it does keep our pencil sharpened and, force us to look ahead as much as we can. And I think the fact that the figures were as close as they are to the 2013 preliminary budget, which was our guessing budget last year, shows that you do a pretty good job of estimating what we need and what we spend. So I was pleased. Now, it is a public hearing, and that means that anyone in the audience can come forward and state your name and address, and address the board with questions regarding this matter or the fiscal officer if you wish to. Seeing no one step forward, I will close the public hearing and move on to the rest of the agenda. The first thing is a part I always enjoy quite a bit, and that is presentations and recognitions. And we have Jack Sutton here with us this evening, I believe, to talk to us about great parks of Hamilton County.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, I'm Jack Sutton. I'm Executive Director for Great Parks of Hamilton County, and most people recognize Hamilton County Park District, but at the beginning of this summer, we went through sort of a little bit of a freshen our look exercise. I want to start off with that and just talk about that and let you have a little background on why we've changed our name and our logo. It is a result of us listening to the residents of Hamilton County and our park users, and for many years we try to survey our users, we questionnaires, one-on-ones, focus groups, and there's been a theme for quite some time that a lot of residents don't know everything about their park district. They don't know all the parks across the county that the Park District provides for the residents of Hamilton County, and often they don't know all the facilities in a grouping of parks. For example, I would guess in Anderson Township, some people may not be very familiar with Withrow Nature Reserve. They may be very familiar with Little Miami Golf Center or Woodland Mound, but maybe have never visited Withrow for one reason or another. So we listened to that and we asked ourselves, why is there confusion? We've had comments in the past, the Park District should really provide horseback riding. Well, we've had a riding center at Winton Woods for over 50 years. Youth camping, you should have youth. We have multiple youth camps. So we asked ourselves, what are we doing or not doing to tell our story as well as it ought to be? We took a hard look at how we represent ourselves on signage, how we represent ourselves through our publications, our websites, and so forth. And in all frankness, we've kind of muddied our story. Over years, we would build a new facility, and we might create a nice sub-brand of itself. The Vineyard Golf Course is a great example. The Vineyard is part of Hamilton County Park District, great parks, but often people don't know that. They see the Vineyard as maybe a standalone facility. So we've actually done that in multiple cases across the county. So the board asked the staff to take a hard look at how we present ourselves and really, can we do a better job? And one example was, sure, we can just put Hamilton County Park District bigger and repeat that. But in the end, we felt it was really time to freshen our look. We are 83 years young here in Hamilton County. We have had the URL greatparks.org since about year 2000, so the term Great Parks has been in our vernacular for quite a while. When we've surveyed people and asked open-ended questions, tell us what your opinion is of your parks, the word great always kind of came out. It's great parks, I have great time. So we evolved into changing our logo, changing our look, and we are now Great Parks of Hamilton County. We've gone through the legal change. We are still Hamilton County Parks, as many people remember us, but hopefully in the future people will begin to connect the dots. And our Great Parks bird is helping to do that. I brought some slides, some images. What we're really about, we like to consider ourselves as the pathway to the outdoors in Greater Cincinnati. We are based as a conservation agency. That's really what makes us unique. There are a lot of other really strong park systems and providers throughout the county. Anderson Park District is a great partner with us, and we really admire the things they do, but we do things differently. We manage the large open green spaces across the county. We have 21 parks and nature preserves, over 16,568 acres, and that allows us to really do some very unique projects in terms of preserving natural resources. We have scientific research projects ongoing all the time. We're finding rare and endangered plant species, and we're the folks that have the ability to really manage large blocks of open space. We're the largest property owner in Hamilton County and one of the largest conservation agencies in Southwest Ohio. Speaking of budget, here's the Park District's budget for 2013. Our overall budgeted income is just under $31 million, and like you, we've been facing very similar challenges with reducing revenues, tax revenues primarily. The loss of the tangible personal property tax has really changed the way we have approached things. We went through some very tough decisions a couple of years ago in making hard decisions about what's our primary purpose and what services can we provide effectively. Within our budget, about 55% comes from the tax income, primarily the $1 million property tax that the voters approved in 2002. We do get a small percentage out of the local government fund, but those are the two primary sources. We rely very heavily on earned income. 45% of our budget comes from activities, user fees, and the like. We are the most self-sufficient park district in the state of Ohio and really across the Midwest in our philosophy on providing services that people can enjoy and providing appropriate level of fees to help offset tax. And our ultimate goal is to be less reliant on taxes, not more reliant, but that's very difficult in today's days, as some of the examples you all cited. Many people know us for our larger lakes and harbors, Winton Harbor, Sharon Harbor, Miami Whitewater Forest. We actually operate 4 major lakes with fishing operations, boating operations, Lake Isabella being the fourth. Paddling is a recreation trend that continues to grow. For the last 10 years or so, we've seen kayak and canoe activity on our lakes growing. We provide opportunities for lessons, both beginner through intermediate and advanced. We'll take river trips on the Little Miami as well as the Whitewater and Great Miami rivers. Golf has always been a mainstay for the Park District. We operate 7 golf courses, and of course, the Vineyard is here in Anderson Township, as is Little Miami Golf Center, so it's well represented in your neighborhoods. Camping is also a strong component of what we do. We operate 3 campgrounds. One is here at Woodland Mound called Steamboat Campground. One is at Winton Woods, which is our largest, and that's where these images are taken from, and then Miami Whitewater Forest. So for example, at Winton, campers can come in their tent, their pop-up trailer, or bring their large, very luxurious RV and hook up to our 50-amp service. We've also, over the years, the last several years, provided deluxe cabins, as you see on the upper right, very similar to what you might see in a state park. Family of 6 can come in. It has basically all the accommodations for a great staycation right close to home. And one of the things we're very proud of at Winton, for example, a majority of our campers are Hamilton County residents. So it is a campground that's very much loved by the residents and the folks in the region. They'll come and spend a week and still get the kids to soccer, or dad can jump into the office if he needs to. Hiking is one of the most popular activities in the Park District. In total, all of our trails, over 70 miles of trails. Hiking trails makes up the vast majority of that. We do have some equestrian trails. Nature trails, we have paved trails. Bicycling, at Miami Whitewater Forest, we have an 8-mile loop called the Shaker Trace Trail. We now have the only mountain bike trail in Hamilton County at Mitchell Memorial Forest, and we have over 8 miles of single track trail at Mitchell. Walking is certainly another favorite and very common activity, and one we try to accommodate where we can in a very safe and pleasant environment. One of the 3 components of our mission is outdoor education, and we have a strong group of naturalist staff that provide activities within the park. So for example, at Woodland Mound, at Season Good Nature Center, we have naturalist staff there providing programming throughout the season, throughout the year. And then we have naturalists that go on the road. We call them outreach naturalists, and they work day camps. They might go into different parts of the county, meet with senior groups, school groups, church groups. But we touch probably 130,000 people through outdoor education programs annually. One of the best things to do in our parks is relax, and here's a photo of the view over the Ohio River off of Breezy Point, Woodland Mound. We've got just oodles of places for people to come, kind of recharge the batteries and enjoy the outdoors. This season, although we're middle of July, we still have lots of things going on. One program we started several years ago was called the Resident Appreciation Days, Free First. So on the 1st of May, June, July, and August, Hamilton County residents enter the park without the need of a motor vehicle permit. We provide free and discounted programs on those days, and it's really our way of saying thank you to the support from our residents. Throughout this summer and in previous summers, we have our summer concert series. So about every other Saturday night in one of our parks, we have a free concert available for the general public. And we're very proud that this year we're partnering with the Cincinnati Shakespeare Company, and they're bringing A Midsummer Night's Dream out to Miami Whitewater Forest. So that's August 17th. It's a Saturday evening. It's free. It's on the lawn with the lake as a backdrop. It'll be just spectacular. I'm looking forward to that. A project, we have some capital projects underway, and probably the most significant one is we are under construction with the region's largest dog park. This will be located at Miami Whitewater Forest off of Highway 128 near our soccer field complex, and it is being totally funded with private donation. Our foundation has been leading a fundraising campaign, and through 2 significant lead gifts, we're able to construct this really fabulous dog park facility on property that was bequeathed to the Park District by a very generous family named the Simmons. They also made part of the property available to the SPCA. So when SPCA finally lands, there'll be an 11-acre dog park. The SPCA will have a dog adoption center very close by. It's a really neat public-private partnership, and we're very proud of the fact that it's being constructed entirely with private donations. That's scheduled to open next spring, 2014. And then the final project I wanted to touch on is one we're really partnering with the township on, and that is to extend the Little Miami Scenic Bike Trail from where it ends now at the Little Miami Golf Center down along Route 32 to Beachmont Levee. The ultimate goal is to cross the Little Miami River and tie into the Lunkin Bike Path and the Arm Leader Trail, and then ultimately get to downtown Cincinnati. So we do, with the friendship and the partnership with Anderson Township, have funds allocated to leverage federal dollars to get it down to 32. Then the remaining part in blue really represents the vision for the future to get to downtown Cincinnati, connect really with the parks along the river there. Ultimately, the vision is to connect what's called the Ohio River Trail. The big concept, if you really think macro, is Maysville, Kentucky to Madison, Indiana. In more reality, it's New Richmond to Shawnee Lookout, and I think that'll come together. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. Weaving bike trails along areas, along rivers are never easy, but it's going to be a great community asset, and we're proud to be a part of it. I know the township has made great headway with its legs down along River Road. We're also involved with other bike trail planning throughout the county. One, namely, is in the center part of the county, trying to connect Winton Woods down to the village of Wyoming. There are a lot of other initiatives you read about in the paper, and we're involved with those in one way or another. But when it all comes down to, we're here really to serve the people, to help enrich lives, connect people to nature, connect people to outdoor education and outdoor recreation. So with that, I want to thank you. I know you got a long agenda. Before I leave, I have some packets for the trustees, just some information about Great Parks and a report and about our foundation. We'll be glad to answer any questions if there are any.
Does anyone in the audience have a question for Mr. Sutton? Board members?
Anderson Township is indeed fortunate to have 2 wonderful park organizations, both our park district and Hamilton County. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will add to that, you may know that we have our own very special, and we were the first ever township in the state to become a green space township. And there's well over 600 acres in that, which are quite different than parks, because parks are for leisure and recreation. But when we do our maps, it's always a pleasure to color in green with your parks as well as our Anderson parks. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And on the map, Jack, it looks like ours.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know, it's the public's.
There you go.
It's the
And
public's.
it's really, you're right. In fact, when we look across the county, Hamilton County, when you add up all the public green infrastructure, close to 25,000 acres. And we've mapped that. And so it's very impressive, and I think the public should recognize that Cincinnati, Hamilton County is a great place to live, work, and play. And I think it's a lot to do with the parks and the people that support them.
In fact, one of our themes is we want people to play and stay in Anderson Township. So, you can give those to Mr. Severs. He'll get
Great.
them. Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks,
We
Jack.
did have a question in the audience.
Whoops.
Yes, sir.
On the bike trails along the river, is there going to be like river access? Years ago, it used to be like a two-lane highway. And it was really cool. Down to the river. Is there going to be areas where you pull off
I think that's something we should strive for. You know, there are some, they're few and far between. Woodland Mound, we have the Steamboat Bend boat ramp, which the public is welcome to come down and have access to the river there. If you get further down into Cincinnati, you have Schmidt boat ramp. So as we look at ways to bring that trail along the river, from a park operator standpoint, we want to bring people close to the river, see the river, but we also want to take in mind what the river does in terms of flooding and how you maintain that. So sometimes you're up above the elevation, sometimes you're down low. And if there's opportunity to safely get people down there to fish and access the river, we would want to look at that and try to accommodate that.
Can you comment on the future of where things stand with, are we still in a joint partnership between the Johnson Park and between the township and the...
We're actually within days or weeks of doing a cross sale. So where the Hamilton County Park District helped acquire an initial 45 acres, we're working with the township and the Township Park District to do some cross-selling of parkland that, one, will help the bike trail move forward down along Route 32, and then eventually move fee-simple ownership from Hamilton County Parks, Great Parks, to Anderson Park District at Johnson. So I think by this fall, it's just sort of the administrative bureaucracy of scheduling closings, but we're very close to making that come together, and then that will be totally under the jurisdiction of the Anderson Park District Board.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
All right. More recognitions. We have some beautification awards to present, and Mr. Paul Drury will assist in that. I'll come down with you, Paul, to help make the awards.
Thank you. Good evening. Tonight we are celebrating beautiful properties in Anderson Township. This is a program that is organized through our Betterment and Beautification Committee. They have been doing this for 10-plus years with the sponsorship of Cheviot Savings for a yard plaque. There are 4 categories, and this program was advertised in the Forest Hills Journal and the Cincinnati Enquirer on the township's website. Nominations were accepted, and anyone can nominate their property, someone else's property. The committee also went around the township and made nominations as well. And nominations were accepted until June the 14th, and then the committee met on June the 20th to select the winners. And again, there are 4 categories. The first is Outstanding Landscape Design for Commercial Properties. These are properties that do an outstanding job with just their landscaping and the outside of their properties. The second category is a site improvement for commercial properties, and the properties that are eligible for this award are properties that have been improved within the past 2 years. So it can be a modification of their parking lot, of facade improvement, or complete redevelopment of the property. A third category is outstanding landscape design for common areas of subdivisions, so your area that a homeowners association may attain, such as your welcome sign area or just common areas throughout a subdivision, and then also just private residences throughout the township. And all of the consideration is taken from the curb appeal of the street, basically from the street. The purpose of the program is to recognize these outstanding properties for their efforts in beautifying the township, and to recognize their efforts to stand as outstanding examples of what everyone can strive to do with their properties. So, and I'm not sure who is here tonight, so if you are here when your name or your property is called, if you are here, please come up and accept your award. So the first one that is recognized is Outstanding Residential, and these are for common areas, and this is Lawyer's Point, which is located off of Lawyer Road. The second one is same category. There are 2 awards in each. There were 2 winners in each category, first and second place, and this is the Winds of Anderson, which is located off of 4 Mile Road. For Outstanding Private Residence, first place was 7056 Old Chapel Drive. Again, I think it was a date, or most people were out of town or were unavailable. The second place winner was 1250 Collinsdale Avenue. And again, this was for private residents. These were for outstanding commercial, for outstanding landscaping for commercial. This is Plants by Wolfangle, which is located at 8181 Beachmont Avenue at their new facility, their new store. And then the second one was Anderson Divine Forest, which is located at 8455 Beachmont Avenue. And then the final category was site improvement. First place winner was Taco Bell, which is located at 8157 Beachmont Avenue. And then the second place winner in site improvement was Buffalo Wild Wings, which is located at 7741 Beachmont Avenue. So we went to...
Well, let's give all of these people a round of applause. It really helps that, everybody's on the same board, and thanks to the committee as well, because that's probably a tough call on a lot of reasons, but, make the good choices.
Right.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we have some recognitions, which are basically for outstanding public service. That's the way I see it. And those are to go to two members of our fire department who have been with us for many, many years. And it's their years of service that we need to recognize tonight, and to we have prepared resolutions to make these recognitions official. And Chief Ober, if you would like to come up and help us with this.
Good evening. Yeah, it is my pleasure to, if I could have Assistant Chief Tom Raymer and Battalion Chief Rick Martin come up. I'm just going to say a few brief words because the resolutions have a lot of great information in. They both, ironically, started in October of 1982 as volunteers. So as you said, Ms. Rice, they've been around for a while. Tom Raymer, to my immediate left, is currently Assistant Chief and has been for a great number of years, and is now in charge of our Life Safety Division. Rick Martin is Battalion Chief, Shift 3 Supervisor, and also in charge of our Training Division. So with that said,
Okay.
I'd like to entertain
And
your
it is the pleasure of this board to recognize these individuals, and we have prepared resolutions to that effect. I will move to adopt resolution of appreciation with respect to the services of Assistant Chief Tom Raymer. It reads, whereas Tom Raymer joined the Anderson Township Fire Department as a volunteer on October 1st, 1982, became a full-time employee thereof on June 30th, 1998, progressed from a firefighter-paramedic to lieutenant July 1st, 1994, to bureau chief March 20, 1997, and to assistant chief on July 31st, 1997. Whereas Assistant Chief Tom Raymer has served Anderson Township with intelligence, loyalty, and dedication, consistently providing specialty training to the department's rescue personnel, and recently assuming the responsibilities of the Life Safety Division, thereby assisting with economic development activities within the township. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Anderson Township, Trustees of Anderson Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, that on this occasion of completion of 25 years of career service to Anderson Township Fire and Rescue Department, Assistant Tom Raymer is hereby honored for his diligent and dedicated service to the residents of Anderson Township.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. And now, yes. And it's my pleasure to ask to adopt a resolution of appreciation with respect to the services of Battalion Chief Rick Martin. Whereas Rick Martin joined the Anderson Township Fire Department as a volunteer on October 1st, 1982, became a full-time employee thereof on April 23rd, 1985, progressed from a firefighter-paramedic to lieutenant July 1st, 1994, and to battalion chief on July 27th, 2003. And whereas Battalion Chief Rick Martin has loyally served Anderson Township, and through his efforts, the effectiveness and professionalism of the training division has been increased, thereby improving service to residents and safety for fire department personnel. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Township Trustees of Anderson Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, that on this occasion of completion of his 28 years of career service to the Anderson Township Fire and Rescue Department, Battalion Chief Rick Martin is hereby honored for his diligent and dedicated service to the residents of Anderson Township.
Second?
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. And I'm sure you'll have copies of these for the gentleman, right? Yeah, okay.
Have them in
Oh,
there?
you had- oh, they have them, good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for your service.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right. That concludes this portion of the agenda. Next up is legislative update, and typically State Representative Peter Stoutberg would give us a presentation of what's going on up there in Columbus. I understand from Administrator Vicki Earhart, he won't be with us tonight. Is that right, Vicki?
That is correct. The House is not in session at this point, and he does not have an update, although we have been communicating on a citizen initiative regarding putting Anderson back on the map, which is essentially one of our residents is attempting to get the state of Ohio, Google, and various other map makers to list Anderson Township on the map rather than Forestville, Cherry Grove, the census-designated places, and Representative Stoutberg has agreed to assist us with that effort. We will have more information related to that effort at the Greater Anderson Day celebration.
Oh, good. Okay, well, that's a good update. So he'll be back when things are in session again?
Yes.
Good, all right. This is the part of our program which we call Public Forum, and what that means that anyone in attendance here in the audience may step forward and address this board on any matter they wish to. We ask that you make your comments brief, that you state your name and address, and be non-repetitive. And other than that, anyone who wishes to can take this opportunity to speak to us. Just step to one of the podiums. See no one come forward.
There is one, Ms. Rice.
Oh, good, thank you. Sorry, didn't see you.
My name's Mike Stair. I live over on, in the landings of Anderson. I just had a couple questions. I was reading in the paper, and I'm concerned about this, about the Senate Bill 93 that Shannon Jones put out in the lawsuit against the Clear Creek Township trustees regarding public meetings, okay? And I was just wondering how we comply with that, and if all the meetings and decisions are in accordance with the Ohio Sunshine Laws, which are call for open government resource manuals from the federal government, from the state government. The other thing I wanted to, besides that, I wanted to also ask if we could post the agenda in advance for these meetings on the website, which, if I go to the website right now, there is an agenda posted, but it's from 8/12 of, or 10/18 of 2012, and when you click on the link, it goes to a thing that says this page no longer exists. So those were just a couple comments and questions I had for the board.
To understand clearly your first question, are you asking if we are in compliance?
Yes, well, I mean, what I'm trying to find out is whether or not we're with the lawsuit against Clear Creek Township with regard to meetings before the meeting and decisions to pull things off of the meeting agenda and that type of thing, and the fact that they were making decisions. It looks like, based on the article in the newspaper that, that there could be potential other lawsuits for other townships, and I was just wondering if you were aware of that and how we comply with that, okay?
If I
Well, I'm
might
going
respond.
to ask, before the trustees comment, I'm going to ask our law director, Mrs. Margaret Comey, to address that for you.
Okay.
Certainly. My knowledge of the Clear Creek Township matter is limited to what I read in the paper as well. But I was alarmed to read about the congregation prior to the start of the meetings. We very strictly adhere to the Ohio Sunshine Law.
Okay.
There is a manual that is on the Auditor of State's website
Yeah, I've got it here.
that has lots of good information about it. We're always concerned with, as some of the discussion in the Clear Creek Township, at least article, had to do with whether the discussion constituted deliberating or not.
Correct.
That's really close to the line. As far as we're concerned, we would never do that. We are very aware of the exemptions that are provided in the Ohio Sunshine Law.
Okay.
And they are very limited as to when the board may go into exec session to discuss a given matter, and I'm sure you've seen those if you're familiar with the
Yeah,
manual.
I've just looked at
And
this.
there's a
It's like
lot of
211
Ohio-
pages.
Yeah, a lot of Ohio case law that supports those exemptions. If we're not within one of those exemptions, we do not go into exec session, and we never, our trustees do not congregate before the meetings or any other time that is not open to the public. And we include certifications to that effect in all of our legislation.
Okay, I was just concerned, and I didn't know how it fit in with our township. And I guess the second point was bringing up posting the agendas on the website, if that was
Yes.
possible.
Yes, sir.
Before we move on to that,
Yeah.
I will say that, and apparently Mr. Jackson has something he wishes to say as well, perhaps Mr. O'Brien, but not only do we adhere specifically to the Ohio Revised Code's sunshine provisions, but even when we retire to executive session, and we had a brief one before this meeting, that's why I asked to come back into a public session when I first came. But we also read the exact statute which covers the subject that we will be discussing in executive session.
Okay.
So I think we're
I
don't think you have
was just
any-
concerned
No, I know.
about when I saw
Well, that's a good
these things come
question,
up.
a very good
I just
question.
wanted to ask the question, to make sure that we were
right,
on board with it.
yeah.
Just the aside to this is the fact that if a 9-member board, Newtown, I think they have 9 or 7, whatever, if 2 trustees talk, it's not covered under the Sunshine Law.
Okay.
Because we have a 3-member board, if 2 of our trustees talk, then we do have a majority, and we technically cannot even talk about matters relating to the decision-making process, even though the whole idea of the Sunshine Law was to not make decisions outside the sunshine.
Exactly.
They've taken it a long way from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Rice, if I may address the question regarding the agenda?
Yes, please.
We have made great strides. Years past, we have not posted the agenda on our website, and that's something we've taken the initiative to try to keep up to date with this year. I know that Ms. Moorfield has passed that along. Typically, what happens with the board meetings is the agenda, we have a staff meeting the week prior to a Board of Trustees meeting with the department heads, with our management team. We determine what items we would like to present to the board. That agenda is drafted, it was drafted last Friday, and what our goal is on Friday, prior to the board meeting, to get that on the website as a draft agenda. The board actually receives it Friday evening, they look at it Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tuesday is our deadline for having any last-minute or supplemental items to the Board of Trustees. And then the board formally adopts the agenda at the beginning of the meeting. So our goal is to have a draft agenda on the website the Friday prior to the board meeting. It may change by Tuesday when we have last-minute items that crop up. And the board has, having not seen the agenda prior to when we send it out, they have the option to say, you know, let's delay that, we're not ready for that item yet. So it may change a bit, but we're doing our best to get it on there. I apologize that it was not on this time, but that is something. And if you are looking for the agenda and it is not on the website, please feel free to call, and we will get a copy emailed to you or hard copy, whichever you would prefer.
Okay, that's fine, but like I said, you still got that one out there from 2012.
Yes, Molly, I know Molly's made a note, we're going to take care of that and get that
And the
cleaned
reason I
up.
was asking about the agenda being posted enough in advance, it helps with the transparency that we're all trying to achieve.
Exactly.
In regard to the meetings and knowing what's happening in advance, et cetera.
Exactly.
Before we get here, okay?
And that's one thing we felt that we were lacking in the past as far as getting that out to the residents.
Yeah, Mike, thanks for your comments on that. I'm going to take your thought and expand it just a little bit. There's the Board of Trustees here. There's also a zoning commission and a Board of Zoning Appeals, and then there's also the Park District.
Right.
I've encouraged all those entities through various things to put their agendas on the website, be sure that it's a preliminary agenda. But that's something that I've had an interest in fact, to the point where the Park District is sending me their agendas through Mrs. Earhart a day or two before their meetings. So
That'd be great.
Those would be the four entities that I personally would like to see on the website. So thank you for your comments.
Sure thing. Thank you.
And if I may, Mr. O'Brien, just for clarification, the Anderson Township Park District is a separate entity?
Yes.
So we have no control over whether or not they put their agenda on the website or
Okay,
not?
I'm not going to hold you to that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We'll move forward then and ask for comments from the trustees, if any.
Close the forum.
I don't think I need to.
Okay.
Okay. What? Fiscal officer? What?
Did you have any comments?
I have no
Oh, I'm
comments
sorry.
at this time. Thank you.
I would like to take a moment, because we're dealing with budgets, to make sure everyone's aware that the state of Ohio just passed a amended budget. They actually have a biennial budget, and then they amend it in the second year. Their budgeting is a whole lot different than ours. Our budgeting is what you think of at home, and that's what are you going to do, spend the money? How are you going to spend it wisely? In the state of Ohio, they often legislate within their budget. And there are a couple of things that did happen in this recent budget that you need to know about, and I think all of our citizens need to know about. Three things that I can specifically refer to. One, you probably have read about, is this rollback reimbursement. Essentially, over the years, the state of Ohio has funded 12.5% of every tax levy in the state of Ohio. 12.5% of that did not get collected from the property tax, but rather from the state. So they've phased in this new program that says all new tax levies will not have this rollback. It will have a significant impact on taxpayers. So the next time you see a levy on the ballot, make sure you look at it carefully to say, hey, this is more than what it appears to be, because it really is 100%. So anyway, that was number one. Number two,
Residential.
please.
Residential.
Yeah. Number two is the local government fund. You've heard so much about it, and the cities, particularly the large municipalities, just crying salty tears over the fact that they've had these cuts over the last several years. There had been a big fight to try to get a little increase in the local government fund for this coming year. Well, at the last minute, what they decided to do is go back to the previous formula, which relates directly to the revenues of the state. So the local government fund is predicated on revenues, and that may well sound good, but I'm just giving you a warning, is that they also passed a 10% spread over 3 years reduction in the income tax, which means for absolute sure the state revenues are going to go down over time by upwards of 10%, which means that the local government fund is going to be reduced, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So whether it's a library or whatever, there is going to be less money in the coming years. The third one's the most important one, I think, that it directly relates to our property owners, and that is that they made changes to the homestead program. For those of you, like Mrs. Rice, who are over, whatever it is, 55, and who have,
You're on thin ice.
who have I said over 55,
Where is it? Where
who
is
have qualified for the homestead, you are your grandfather. And if you move, this was really important, if you move to another house, you can take that homestead with you. You don't lose it. If you aren't receiving homestead credits at this time, if you don't get them before the end of this year, apply for them and get them. There will be a new qualification that a household income has to be under $30,000 in order to even qualify for the homestead. Now, that's pretty tough for an average family, probably, that with both people are on Social Security, because I suspect that many of the, if you're maxed out on Social Security income, you're probably over $30,000. But anyway, I would tell you, take a look at it. If you don't have it, if you know someone who qualifies or is about to qualify, you've got to apply for it before the end of the year, or you're not going to get it. And it's a significant amount of money. So, anyway, that
And
was
then
it.
it no longer transfers? Is that what you're saying?
You have to meet the
another-
qualification every year
I see.
from that time forward,
Okay,
if you qualify.
yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that information. All right. Okay, then we'll go, Mr. Dietz, you're back up, our fiscal officer, and we do have, I think, something you wish us to adopt.
I would, after all the discussion, I would recommend the adoption of the 2014 preliminary summary tax budget.
The document in front of me says to approve the 2013, but it should say
2014.
14. There you go. I would move that we approve the 2014 preliminary summary tax budget as presented by the fiscal officer.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. Okay. Financial reports?
Yeah, we're halfway through our calendar year in our fiscal year 2013, so we have financial reports available from the end of June. They're in our office and are right here with me, so anybody who likes to take a look at them, they're available.
Okay,
We have no appropriation changes.
that's good.
I'm finished.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
Make a motion on the minutes?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the minutes from the June 6th, 2013 meeting with minor, if any, changes at all.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Abstain.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. Margaret, you've been so helpful before. Do you have anything, Mrs. Comey, to report?
Nothing further. this
Okay,
evening.
thanks. Planning and zoning, Paul Drury.
Tonight, under our agenda, we have the initiation of the adoption of the Anderson Trails Plan. So this is the plan itself, and tonight we're only requesting for the initiation of the adoption process. Mr. Tom Caruso, our Trails Coordinator, is in the audience. He has been working diligently with the Transportation Advisory Committee since the beginning of the year. They formed a subcommittee to go through this adoption, or to look at the update of the plan. In addition to the subcommittee, we also had 2 student volunteers for Northern Kentucky University that worked on the plan as well as part of their curriculum for public administration. So we have developed the plan, and again, I want to give credit to Mr. Caruso and TAC for this. The TAC and the subcommittee, the regular committee and the subcommittee, has met at least 8 times since the process began, the update process, and we're updating it from 2009. And just to give you a little bit of background, which I know you're very familiar with the Trails Plan, but it sets the stage for future Trails projects and sets a priority ranking of which projects should be constructed next. It gives a framework for the future. There is a ranking process that gives points, and I'm not going to explain it as well as Mr. Caruso could, but to the number of households, the number of points of interest, the schools that Trails would connect, and that's how the priority for construction projects is established. It also gives an estimated budget for looking, we're talking money a lot, but it gives an estimated budget for those Trails projects. And again, they're ranked on how many households they connect, points of interest, schools, hospitals, libraries, etc. We're to a point now where all the low-hanging fruit has been picked. So we are looking at more difficult and more expensive segments, but
Yeah.
we're very proud of the plan that has been prepared. At this time, we're looking at the following adoption schedule process. It would be before the Zoning Commission next Monday, actually, and this is a recommendation that would come back to the trustees in August at your regular August meeting. We do anticipate having a public open house prior to the trustees meeting next month, which is on August the 15th, and the open house would be in the large conference room from 5 to 6, taking public comment. The plan will be posted on our website if it's not there already. There will also be copies of the plan and a display at Anderson Days in 2 weekends from now. And again, we have been accepting comments all along through email, through phone calls, and we've received quite a few, actually. So that's very exciting. There's a lot of interest in the Trails program. So with that, there is a resolution for your consideration. If you have no questions, I mean, I can take questions, or Mr. Caruso is also available, but tonight we're just asking for the initiation of the adoption process.
Go ahead.
Hard to believe that we adopted the original plan in 1999.
Yeah.
So we've updated a number of times, and that's a lot of work involved, but I think it's, people are beginning to see connect the dots, where in the beginning you saw these things, and what the heck is that? Now they're all coming together, and that's great.
Do I have a motion?
I would move that we adopt a resolution of the Board of Township Trustees initiating the adoption process for the Anderson Trails Plan update.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. Any further discussion on this matter? I do wish to extend my thanks to Mr. Caruso, who is the staff member representing the township on our Transportation Advisory Committee. I have, as liaison trustee to that committee, I have attended several meetings, and I'm always impressed with the enthusiasm of these volunteers, because they really believe, and we do as well, that they're playing an important part and contributing a lot to the township. The Trails is by far one of our most popular programs. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. So it's popular, but I think the important, for me as a board member, for me, it's important is that I really don't know where we would stand on trying to prioritize and budgeting our money to the proper segments that need to be addressed first, because that's absolutely critical. And what Mr. Jackson was referring to, over the years, and it's been many years, as we've built the trail system, I mean, it's quite visible and used extensively. So thanks to your committee, and Tom, if you would express our thanks to them. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Matt Guy from the Sheriff's Office.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We just have three short orders of business. First one is the resolution that you should have a copy of for the purchase of one police vehicle. It's a 2013 Dodge Charger. When evaluating the strength of our fleet at the current time, we had a need for this police vehicle. There was one of the older Crown Victorias that was mechanically disabled. And after evaluating the cost of fixing it as opposed to selling it and getting a new police vehicle, we believed it was fiscally responsible to go ahead and go forward with the new. Just because of the age and the mileage, we didn't want to invest the money that it was going to cost for the repairs. We saw the need for the vehicle, so we're requesting the purchase of one additional. We purchased two earlier this year, and there was money allocated in the budget for a third vehicle. So we're basically amending. I think this is a new resolution.
Yes, this would be.
And Lieutenant, is best your knowledge, you'll be able to transfer the equipment from the Crown Vic to the Dodge Charger?
The siren box, yes. The light bar, no. The size of the vehicle. However, the light bar remaining on the Crown Victoria gives it a better resale value.
Oh, okay.
So we can sell it to then police agencies. If it didn't have the light bar, we'd kind of be limited to maybe taxi companies and things like that.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Do we have a resolution?
I would move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of one fully equipped 2013 Dodge Charger police cruiser pursuant to Section 505.101 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes.
The second item is an update on a resolution that was passed last month as far as the supplemental contract service for police protection service through the Sheriff's Department. The update is that the contract drafted by the Prosecutor's Office was signed by Ms. Earhart and also the Law Director, and then it was hand-delivered to the Prosecutor's Office, and everyone was in agreement, and it was signed on. So that is effective. Did we stick with July 1st or August 1st?
We left it at July 1st, and I believe it's on the County Commissioner's agenda for action for next week,
That is correct.
next Wednesday, I believe.
Good.
And the last item was, I was forwarded an email in reference to a liquor license request. It's for a limited liability company doing business as Mamma Mia's. It's a take and bake pizza establishment. It's at 8312 Beachmont Avenue. And after investigating the physical location, the Sheriff's Office would have no objections to this.
I would move that we not object to a liquor license request for Mimi's Anderson LLC, DBA Mama Mimi's, located at 8312 Beachmont Avenue.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. Sorry.
There's a
Steve?
representative, I believe, in the audience
Oh.
that would like to just make a...
Yes, please come forward.
Hi, thank you. My name's Brett DeCurtins. I'm one of the partners in Mama Mimi's, and I guess since you've discussed it, we don't have to talk about the liquor license, so I just wanted to say a couple things about the store. Mama Mimi's was founded in Columbus, Ohio in 2000. There's 4 locations, and the St. Gregory Development Group, based in Kenwood, is bringing the concept to Cincinnati. Our first location is going to be Anderson Township. We hope to open several more by the end of the year. The concept is take and bake pizza. We've got a couple dozen pizzas, high-end gourmet pizza, the made fresh to order. You call ahead, order online, or come in. We'll make them there. Dough made that morning, fresh vegetables, ingredients. You take it home, bake it. Some lasagnas, salads, desserts also offered, and we're going to do a limited wine selection that'll be kind of prepared with certain pizzas. So no dining or consumption on premises. It's all carry out, and we hope to open, construction's underway, hope to open sometime later next month. So,
Well, with warming it up at your home, no excuse for not having a hot pizza.
that's right.
Normally, when people come in ask us to do this, they bring samples, so
I guess I'll have to
we
come
can
back
make our
because all I
decision, make
all I
our
have now is
decision box
construction
easier,
site
right?
stuff. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yep. Okay.
And that was all we had this month.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant. All right, Public Works Department, Richard Shelley.
Good evening. I have two items before the board. The first one is the Operations Center Phase A. And for those of us that may not know where that's at 7954 Beachmont. That's the site that we vacated when we came here to this building. But to say vacated is kind of a stretch. From a land use perspective, we use and abuse that property. We share that with Congressman Brad Winstrup, the Park and Ride Facility, recycling, the Senior Center, Public Works, the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Station, and a rear access to Sem Manor. All on what is less than probably a couple acres worth of pavement and buildings. As a result of the development going in next to the facility, we need to make some changes and some upgrades to the parking lot, the lighting, the fencing, striping, and landscaping in order to improve the flow through that facility. With that many things going on, it's hard to get a safe zone for everyone to go through. For example, for years in Public Works, we back out of the buildings because of the physical limitations of the buildings, and we have to constantly watch from people either walking, sometimes scooters accessing the Senior Center, or cars coming through right behind the equipment in the buildings trying to get over to the Senior Center. So we're trying to clearly define new travel lanes. For example, the new road has been opened next to the tower that gives access back to the Senior Center, and that's what this project will do. As you will notice, it does say Phase A. We anticipate another project to complete all the final upgrades on that property, but for now it was important to do some of the things that are pushing us because of the construction to the east, and to give us room to expand to complete all the work on one side, then move everything over and then complete the work on the other side. So with that, you have in front of you, we were out for bid. We received 3 bidders interested in this work. Advanced Contractor, Sunisas, and Mark Spalding Construction. Their bid amounts are listed, but the most responsive bidder at this time, and the recommendation from myself would be the Advanced Contractors and Estimators at $397 even. And of course, they have done a great job for us in the past. They have been on done programs for us, probably 4, maybe 5 different projects. We've had a great deal of success, and we were very happy to see them as the low bidder.
Good.
I would move that this board accept the bid of $397,000 from Advanced Contractors and Engineers, deemed to be the most responsive and responsible bidder for the Operations Center Phase 1 project, in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $436,700 funded out of TIF funds. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs the Township Administrator to give timely notice of award to the contract, and after consultation with the Law Director, to enter into a contract with Advanced Contractors and Engineers in accordance with their bid for the Operations Center Phase 1, Phase A project.
Second.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. Any
Richard,
further?
there was quite a spread between there were only 3 bidders, but wow.
Yeah, because the work was not heavily concentrated in one area of expertise, either all paving or all concrete or all pipe or all electrical or all fencing, we had to take the general construction route, and the general contractors, of course, are using all subcontractors to do the work and to do the pieces, so it was all in who they could secure to help them with their bid. Yeah.
Interesting.
The next item I have before the board is the Fire Station 6 roof replacement, again at the same location, 7954. That roof has been in need of repair for years. We have been debating at length what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and we have the solution at this point. It's basically a re-roof situation. We had 4 bidders participate. Truecraft Roofing Meridian Golden Eagle, Interstate Contractors, and Tecta America. The low bidder, of course, was Tecta America, and this is a company that has been around this area for a long time. They are part of the old Zero Breeze company, and a lot of people who have done roofing in this area, flat roofing for many decades, would know that name to be the best in the business at some flat roofs. So what we have at that building is a series of 6 different smaller flat roofs. The way it's broken into each building, each section, the apparatus bay, the tower bay, the hose tower, the section that's above Congressman Winstrup's office. It was a hodgepodge of roofing when the building was built. But what you have there is a request to accept Tecta America, a Zero company, and replace that roof.
I would move that this board hereby accept the bid of $119,883 from Tecta America Zero Company, LLC, deemed to be the most responsive and responsible bidder for the Fire Station 6 roof replacement project in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $131,871 funded out of TIF funds. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs the Township Administrator to give timely notice of award to the contractor and, after consultation with the Law Director, to enter into contract with Tecta America Zero Company, LLC, in accordance with their bid for the Fire Station 6 roof replacement project.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes. Any further discussion?
I would like to comment on something, Richard, and I really appreciate the effort that you all have put into this replacement. I've had, as you well know, I've had a lot of experience with flat roofs, and we could have saved maybe 30 to 40% by putting a roof over a roof. It's done all the time. Having done that twice, I'll tell you what, there is no savings, because by the time you get done with just finding leaks because of the coverage, and you don't have the warranty, you don't have, it's painless going this way. So particularly with that convoluted roof, whoever, that design.
I didn't do it.
I know you didn't. That design should have had that copper cupolas or something.
Yes, that's right.
But, anyway, thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate that. The re-roof was necessary at this time, and we'll do our best to get it done and get it done properly. Of course, there's always the the aspirations and the questions that everything turn out right, and we know that'll be the case. I really appreciate, this was the first project, if the board will remember, that we did on a design build under the new state statutes, allowing us to not hire an architecture firm, not hire a engineering design firm that would produce the documents and go out for bid. What we did in this case is we solicited the services of an architect. We paid for his opinion and some questions and some answers. He gave us guidance. We went straight to a vendor and had a vendor solution, Firestone Roofing. We're using their system. The bidders that you see, the 4 of them, are certified in that system, and that's why it was limited to people who were certified, because the warranty with this roof is 20 years old, is a 20-year warranty. So, not to belabor it, but this was the first design bid project that we tried in the township.
Would you say a 5% savings?
I'd say closer to 10 overall, based on those numbers. I would have said that initially, but seeing those numbers, maybe 10%.
Right.
Yes.
Good.
All right. That's all I have.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have to send a letter to thank the legislature for that, huh? Yeah.
Fire and Rescue Department. Chief Ober, do you have anything further for us? Thank you. Now we move to Township Administrator and Assistant Administrators. And I believe Suzanne Parker is up first. Is that correct?
That is correct.
The first item on our agenda is a request for the board to consider renewing our employees' medical insurance coverage with the Center for Local Government Benefits Pool. As you know, we've been a member of this benefits pool for a number of years, and it has some elements of a fully insured program and some elements of a self-insured program. And in that capacity, it has worked very well for us. We had some years in the past where we had some considerable premium increases in the 13-14% range, because it was an adjustment period, and it was the self-insured portion of it reflected that the premium increases were driven by claims costs. We still benefited by being a part of that pool and sharing that risk. We did take on some pretty aggressive efforts to control the claims costs. And this year, we're seeing the fruit of that labor. They have given us a 6.9% increase, which is very reasonable in today's market. I did speak with our agent, and he did tell me that for private sector groups of our size, that increase is well within the good rates that he is seeing. So I don't feel that this particular increase is out of line in any way. So unless the board has any questions, I would ask that we renew this coverage, keeping the plan design exactly as it is, and moving forward with that 6.9 rate increase.
Do we have a motion?
I would move that we authorize the Assistant Township Administrator to renew the township's current employee medical insurance coverage with the Center for Local Government Benefits pool for the upcoming 2013-2014 plan year.
Second.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sievers has the next several items, including with the board's indulgence, an update on a kind of a late-breaking matter that we had questions asked about at the last board meeting regarding Mount Carmel Road.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening. I have Ms. Earhart mentioned I have the next two items on the agenda. The first of which pertains to the Cleft Pike Improvement Project. As work is winding up on Salem, and we're pleased to see that is coming to an end in advance of Anderson Days, we turn our attentions to Cleft Pike. And as the board knows, we've been engaged in this project for a number of years. Ohio Department of Transportation recently bid this project because they have about $2.2 million in grant funding in this. The low bid was to Barrett Construction. Barrett's a great contractor. We've used them before. However, their low bid was a little bit higher than the current estimate for the project, about 6%. And since the grant funds are at a maximum, to move forward with this project would require additional funding from the township. There's a motion in your packet for approximately $153,000 to move that project forward. Again, this is approximately a $2.6 million project, about $2.2 million in ODOT funds for construction. So it's a great leverage for some dramatic improvements to that business district that, if we proceed at this point in time, will probably start in August. Of course, utility work has already begun, but would start in August and conclude sometime early next summer. So if there's any questions on that, again, we have already provided funding, so our intent would be to utilize funds that are coming back to us from the state, kind of against our rebate, so to speak, but it would require additional board action since it's above and beyond the resolution that you took in 2008 when we applied for these funds.
I would move that we amend Resolution 08-0320-09 to increase the township's share of the $2.2 million Clough Pike Improvement Project by $153,290 using TIF funds, recognizing that this increase in funding is due to the necessary right-of-way expenses incurred with this project.
Second.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Sievers, one more comment on this. There's a number of businesses in this district, and I understand you've been in contact with those businesses almost continuously for the last several years, and everybody's had more than ample opportunity to have their input on
Yes,
this
between
project.
myself, Mr. Caruso, Mr. Drury, Mr. Shelley, various other staff and consultants, we've spent a considerable amount of time. Unfortunately, this project initially was a partnership with those businesses. They're still in partnership with us. However, the state requires that they be paid for their partnership. So that's what has driven the cost of this project up.
And from what I've seen, the plans and all the infrastructure work that's gone on there, I do expect to see something very dramatic improvement down there. It's going to be wonderful to see.
I think you've already seen a couple signs come down, one of which was a dramatic change in and of itself, but yes, there'll be much more to come. So thank you.
Thank you.
Second item I have is a request that's been brought before us by Immaculate Heart of Mary through their legal counsel, Graydon Head. Immaculate Heart of Mary Parish purchased 2 properties on Beachmont Avenue at 7770 Beachmont in September of 2001. As is commonplace, and is the commonplace for typically the township or the park district was here earlier this evening, when we acquire property and proceed with making requests for property tax exemption for that property, it cannot be located in a TIF district. And the properties that are in question there at the corner of Asbury and Beachmont are in a TIF district. And since those applications are made 1 year in the rear from acquisition, the IHM and their legal counsel are coming before us to remove those 2 pieces of property from our TIF. A resolution is included in your packet for consideration. This would enable them to proceed with application by December 31st, which is their deadline. So,
I would move that we adopt a resolution removing 2 parcels of real estate from the operation of resolution number 94-0628-04.
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Yes.
thank you very much. And as Ms. Earhart
You
mentioned...
might mention, Steve, the
Yes.
impact of that to the township's portion is maybe 2,000, somewhere $2,500.
$2,500 a year maybe, I believe, is what we estimated based upon what their tax bill currently is. Yeah, so, bringing the uses that they brought to that building, a former vacant building, certainly much more than pay for themselves in that regard. Last item I have, as Ms. Earhart mentioned, we received notification there was some questions brought before the board, I think Mr. Phelps did last month, about Mount Carmel Road and signage. That actually happened concurrent with some requests that we had from B-Way about signage at the bottom of Mount Carmel Hill. So they coincided quite well. Jeff Newby from the engineer's office was out the site last month, made some recommendations, and they were installing signage at the bottom of Mount Carmel Hill. He was out yesterday in conjunction with the Salem work, went over to Mount Carmel, and they'll be installing some additional signage at the top of Mount Carmel as well, prohibiting commercial vehicles. I think right now it just limits the weight limit. Again, signage only goes so far. I know the sheriff's office does their best with enforcement, but at least it's one more element of notification for folks that are going down that roadway, what laws exist. So appreciate you can bring that to our attention. Hopefully every little bit helps, and I know we'll continue to do our efforts, and sheriff's office will as well with regards to enforcement. So,
One more comment on that, Steve. Lieutenant, if you do, I don't know if this is legal or not, so tell me if it is, but when you cite a trucker for being over the 5-ton limit, if we could have an idea of where his load is destined to, where he's going, we might have a conversation with that general manager of that facility.
On the OUTT, there is no category for that on the uniform citation.
Okay.
I don't know the legalities of, I mean, certainly the officer can ask questions, and it's something that we could attain. I mean, we couldn't force them to answer, I guess, but if that's information that we wanted to obtain, we could have the officer ask that. But it would have to be something that we would have to direct the officer to do. It's not something that would be included in the normal citation process.
I understand, but the gentleman at our last meeting suggested that there might be a serious accident there, and I couldn't agree more. I've been up and down that hill, and if a tractor trailer is coming down, it can be very dangerous.
Well,
So-
and fortunately, right now also, I don't know if the board is aware, but through funding of the Hamilton County Engineers Office, we are actually going to have a full-time commercial enforcement officer that's going to be countywide. So he'll be spending some time out here in Anderson as well as different parts of the county. But he's going to be in a big F-350 truck with scales with him, and that's one of the areas that he will concentrate on. We have had extra patrol requests, and Officer Caruso, who used to be assigned out here, whenever he's out in the township, always gives that area concentrated effort.
Okay, thank you.
and again, we fortunately, through the NCOR plan that we're engaged in, have some good communication with a number of those businesses. Like I said, B-Way was one that came to us about signage at the bottom so that their trucks don't try to go up the hill, and we'll continue that effort as
Okay.
well. And Mr. O'Brien, you mentioned earlier about the website. I appreciate Mr. Stair bringing that to our attention. The zoning agendas are on the website. They have been for some time. Those don't change as much as our trustee, but we'll make sure that for the next month, it was actually something we discussed at the end of June. We just didn't make that change for July, so we'll make sure that's on there.
Thank you.
Last item we have for the board and for the residents is the annual Greater Anderson Days celebration will be held July 26th through the 28th at Beach Acres Park. This is an event the Anderson Township Park District puts together in conjunction with the Anderson Area Chamber of Commerce and Anderson Township. Each year, the board has requested since 1999 that we institute a survey, a questionnaire that we issue to our residents who attend the festival to get their opinions on a variety of topics. Over the years, we've used the questionnaire as kind of a report card, if you will, to grade our services. We've asked questions about various projects, various programs, the Anderson Trails program, some other safety-type messages as far as do you wear seat belts, those types of questions. This year, in order to reach as many residents as possible, we have also posted the questionnaire on our website. If you will see, it's in the center there under Anderson Township News. This will be mailed out also in our Anderson Insights newsletter. We have a notice that residents can go to the website to fill out the questionnaire in advance of Greater Anderson Days, so that you don't have to take the time, if you have your children and your family with you, to take the time to fill out a lengthy survey. The survey is much shorter this year. We have about 8 questions. It's certainly less than 10. It shouldn't take much time to fill out. And the board uses this information to make decisions regarding budget, projects, various other items. We will present the results to the public at the Board of Trustees August 15th board meeting, and we will also publish that information for residents. So we encourage everyone to either fill out the survey online or please stop by our tent. We are going to be in the center of Beach Acres Park. We will have the largest tent there, and we're kind of in the center by ourselves this year. So we encourage residents to stop by. We do have township staff members that will be present each night between 5 and 9 p.m. to answer any questions that residents have, to show you the various displays that we're going to have for different projects that are in progress. And we welcome your questions. We welcome your feedback. So we would encourage you to, as I said, stop by the tent. Usually the elected officials are at the celebration as well. They stop by the tent and also answer any questions. So again, that is July 26th through the 28th. The celebration runs from 5 to 11 on Friday and Saturday, and 5 to 10 on Sunday with a fireworks show at 10 o'clock. But again, township staff members will be there between 5 and 9 every night to answer any questions you have. Thank you. That's all we have for the board. We do not have any items arising from exec session discussions this evening.
Thank you. Well, that concludes the agenda. I would remind the audience and the viewing audience that our next televised board meeting will occur on August 15, 2013 at 6 p.m. Citizens may call 688-8400 to confirm. I would also like to remind what was mentioned earlier, that there will be an open house starting at 5 o'clock here, right before our board meeting, and that will be to review the Anderson Trails plan. So if you're coming, you might want to come in a few minutes earlier and look at the trails. With that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Rice?
Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.